everybody and welcome to another Train Sim World news video. I do apologise that I didn't do March 2023's roadmap. I recorded it and then realised that I didn't have my full screen on. So I did plan to do it again, but other things just got in the way, and then time I got round to it, it just wasn't worth doing, because it had been so time I got the time, it was so late on, so yeah, it wasn't worth doing at that point. But here we are for the roadmap for 2023, so let's get on with it and see what we've got coming up. I'm not going to go through the too long, don't read summary. We're just going to skip that and just go into the news. The roadmap. Hello and welcome to May's Train Sim World Roadmap. Thanks as everyone for joining us. We've got loads of interesting, exciting content to talk to you about, but before we get into that, we wanted to review the past couple of months. March and April review. This is new. Before we get into May's content, though, we thought it would be important to kick off by reviewing what has been a busy last couple of months, with some real high points as well as some areas we'd like to improve moving forward. Yeah, the East Midlands line. Midland Main line, sorry. Some releases have been really well received, while some have not hit the consistency or quality bar we expected. Yeah, the Midland Main line. We are a business and our staff rely on us to support them, whilst you in return rely on us to be able to have an enjoyable experience within our games. It is a tough balance sometimes, and sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. We endeavour to provide the best experience we can, and that's what we'll continue to do. We won't get it right all the time, but we will work our hardest to bring you value for your time and money. Yeah, $29.99 is not value for money, but I have to give. It wasn't, Midland Main Line wasn't their fault, unless they pushed Skyhooks to get it out before it was actually through. Then it is their fault, but if it ain't, it's just Skyhooks' fault. We discussed some of the ideas in future roadmaps, but here are a few things we will be implementing in the near future to improve our offerings in the long term. A standardised list of features for all first-party and third-party content, with a renewed focus from our QA team on ensuring these features are included before a project is signed off. A focus on squeezing as much gameplay from content as we're able to. Reviewing and expanding our beta communities. Expanding our production team to provide more focus and rigor on add-on development. Building an internal focus group of dedicated TSW players to better inform our plans moving forward. After Peak Forest release on May 9th and the Spirit of Steam patch, which updates Steam physics and fixes the AI SPAD issues, we have a break in content for a little while, giving us the opportunity to review our catalogue and improve areas where we have the capability and resources we can do. We'll be focused on releasing post-released improvements to Lake Rheinstruck, Nadelbaum, Bremen-Oldenburg and Midland Main Line. Getting HST Livery Designer released with a Great Western Express patch. A partner program release featuring the first selection of Midland Main Line improvements, as well as assorted improvements to the 1938 Tube Stock, Island Line, West Cornwall Local and Arosa Line. Improving and testing add-ons manager in preparation for Xbox and PC platform release. So they're going to be looking at making improvements for the Midland Main Line, which is good because it really needs it. The 1938 Tube Stock, the Island Line. I didn't know there was too much trouble with the Island Line. And is that the Island Line the original one or the updated Island Line? It doesn't really say, does it? The West Cornwall Local, please add the HST Intercity into there. That will be amazing. And the Arosa Line, which I've got all those things, so that would be good. As a quick note, not all this stuff might release before the next roadmap update, but preparation work will be done to try and ensure it is out as soon as possible as after. Okay, that's good then. It's good that they are acknowledging these third-party routes and content, so that is good. The team will also be working on bolstering the Northeast Corridor New York Trenton timetable, more on this below, with Joe and the team working hard on improving the gameplay opportunities on the route, as well as reviewing the Peninsular Corridor missing baby bullet surface and outstanding TSW to patch. Yay! Oh, it's May now, we might get those. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's coming down later. Right, I'm getting ahead of myself there. Oh, so that's good then. I've not got the Northeast Corridor yet. I'm not sure whether it's one I'm getting or not, so we will have to see. Also, I've just lost my train of thought there. But yeah, let's carry on, shall we? We announced last month that to celebrate our new owners, Focus Entertainment will be making our French DLC free in May. We are planning that players will be able to download. Mixing my words up here. Download LGV Mediterranean Marseille to Avignon for free between May 26th and June 2nd on all platforms. We are waiting on confirmation from Microsoft, but if there's any changes, we'll let you know closer to the time. More information will be available closer to the time, but this will be a permanent addition to your libraries after you have downloaded it during this week period. So that's between May 26th and June 2nd. I wonder if between May 26th and June 2nd that is when we'll also get the free French DLC for Train Sim Classic. And there we go, that's for Train Sim World there. The SACF. As a final note, we hear your calls for more communication around development. That's why we're going to pilot a new monthly video, a roadmap branch line, if you will, which will aim to provide a little more detail on some of the things we're working on. Keep your eyes peeled later this month. Okay, that's good if they can carry on with the communications better and the development around stuff. So yeah, that's a big plus from me. Upcoming content: additions to roadmap, Glossip line, Manchester, Hatfield and Glossip. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. And now that's a route that's not even in Train Sim Classic. That's a brand new route, not been in Train Sim. I don't think it's been in TSW Classic, either officially or third party. So yeah, that's good. Which Manchester is that though? I can see it says Glossip Line route map, so we'll find out in a minute. More information will be shared in the coming weeks, but we're delighted to announce that the new British route will be the Glossip Line. So that's done by DDG. That's not a third partner route, that's DDG's one. So wow. And will it be an up-to-date one? So here we are, look at that. That is a good line there. Quite a few yards, a lot of junction points to go through, and that. And sidings off from the main line, which makes it interesting. So the Glossip Line route map. As you can see up here, we got Manchester at number 1, Ardwick at number 2, then we go up to Ardwick Depot, then we've got Ashberries, Galton, Guide Bridge, then you've got Guide Bridge sidings, oh no, 6, sorry, it's Fairfield, sorry, skip that, Fairfield, then 7 is Guide Bridge, and then you've got Guide Bridge Station. Then at 9 you got Hyde North, Romley, which then leads off to the Romley line. That squiggly line leaving is the Romley line. But we carry on down to Floreyfield at 10. Then at 11 you got Newton for Hyde. Then Godley. Then Hattersley. Then Broadbottom. Then Dinton, which is this station you can see here, which looks like just to be one line. It looks like just to be one platform. Okay. And you got the signal box there as well on the station. And then after that the lines splits. You got one line going up to Hatfield, which is there at 17, and then you got a line down to Glossip, sorry I've not pronounced that wrong, down at 16. I'm thinking this will be a fairly brand new route, which will be cool. It'll be interesting to see if what train is actually going to be on this route. Will it be a brand new train never before seen in Train Sim? It'll be good if that is. And will we get some layovers at Manchester Piccadilly from other routes? And will the train that comes with this, or trains, we don't know, it could be one or two, we don't know. I'm betting it's just the one though. If it's just the one line, it may be just one train, but I hope it's two. Will they be laid onto other routes? And of course, if other trains will be laid onto this route as well at Manchester Piccadilly. I don't know this line personally. I know Manchester Piccadilly, of course, but I don't know the rest of the line, so that'll be interesting to see. Featuring the Northern Class 323, updated appropriately for the first time Northern is featured within Train Sim World. Oh wow, so that's good as well. So we're now getting Northern trains, which is good. The 323, that's the same one we've got in the West Midlands, isn't it? The West Midlands route. Huh. But for this one, we'll have it in Northern livery though. Okay, I was hoping it'll be a new train, but new company, same train, so it's just getting a paint job really, isn't it? That's a little bit of a letdown, but if that's the train that goes on this route, maybe that's why they chose this route, because they wouldn't have to work on a new train. And I don't think it will be laid onto any other route, because it's Northern, isn't it? Don't think it will be laid onto any other route. I don't know if any freight trains go along here either. That's a bit disappointing in that. I was hoping for at least two trains. But if that's just the train that goes down there, then yeah, you know, it's not. They can't put a train that doesn't actually go down there, can they? I'm just thinking of other trains that could be laid onto this route over at Manchester. For the life of me, I just can't think at the moment. Maybe the 158s. Maybe go up there. I'm not sure. It depends on what time period this was set in. Maybe they could have the 158 EMTs up at Manchester. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Featuring the Northern Class 323 update appropriately for the first time Northern to feature within Train Sim World. This is a fantastic self-contained and fully complete route travelling into a modern day Manchester, okay, arriving into a different terminus than in Northern Trent's Pennine. Formerly part of the Woodhead line before it closed in the BR era, it also features, again for the first time in TSW, a unique operation with a triangle junction where you change track ends at Glossop to head to Hatfield. Ah, okay. So you can go down to Glossop, switch over, and then travel up to Hatfield. Oh, that's interesting. Again, yeah, that's something that hasn't been done in Train Sim World. So yeah, that's a really good reason to pick that route as well. It's something new for us players, of course, so yeah, thumbs up for that. For those who want to take the 323 on a spin up north, who haven't yet experienced it in Birmingham Cross City, this will be right up your street, cross track. We'll share more, including lovely screenshots and videos closer to release. Excuse me. German loco. We've also added a German loco to the roadmap, and more details will be available in the future as we move closer to release. NEC New York to Trenton updated timetable. We heard your feedback loud and clear. You want more services. We underestimated the complexities of the signalling system within the route, and this led us to be able to spend less time than we'd have liked on the timetable. So whilst the team have been behaving away in the background working on this, we wanted work to have progress to a certain point before sharing it with you and putting it on the roadmap. We spoke to Joe about this work that's been undertaken so far. The timetable is based on the real New Jersey T timetable and Amtrak timetable of 2019. I've also been lucky to access the diagrams of NJT that detail which train equipment does each group services. This level of detail is like the 387 and 395 timetables on BML and SEHS, a bit we do not have all the correct stock. If a train we don't have is running a service, it simply gets added as an ALP 46 plus MLS. Anyway, at release we had the full Amtrak timetable, including again services we do not have correct coaches for. ALSA trains will stop at Trenton for the sake of those being playable, otherwise more than half will just be between New York Penn and Newark. These also include virtual destinations to many places beyond Trenton and New York Penn, as well as named trains displayed in the PIS. For NJT we had 120 services, not the full timetable, and most of which were led by the ML Cup car. This was a mix, but not all, of trains 31, 32, 35, 37, 38, 39 and 6XX and 6XXX. All the deadheads do SSY were playable, including any of 6XXX, which gave it quite an unbalance between actual passenger service and SSY deadheads. How the timetable we're working on looks as of right now. Full Amtrak and ALSA as we've released, these services may be slightly different now with more delays etc. due to the increased NGT traffic. Fully electric NJT timetable, see below, is now complete with a few late trains that are being fixed, simulated as I type this. Does not include Arrow 3, Princeton Junction, Princeton AI or diesel equipment out of New York Penn, Hoboken, and no AI traffic at Syracuse Junction. Full electric timetable, this includes all 31 double X, 32, 35, 37, 38, 39 and 6 XXX train numbers that are electric, as well as Hoboken trains that use electric equipment. With all the above, this is now the largest US timetable in TSW. The team are looking at support for addition AI traffic as well, but this work is not started at this stage. Okay, so it looks like they're improving on timetable there. I can't really say much because I don't actually have that route. Spirit of Steam improvements patch, which I also don't have this route either. As many of you know, I've only just started doing a Steam train, which I've only done one video for so far. Some of the current lines subject to the thumbs up by our QA team. Physics update to AF and Jubilee. Jubilee introduction and really reliable rescue. 3 R's there. And the tables have turned scenario should be now completable. Derailments when coupling to wagons in edge hill should be fixed. Derailments when going up a steep bank near edge hill signal box should be fixed. Added 27th of April. Gold medal now achievable on bovine blockage scenario. Reduction in volume of safety valves. AI locals causing SPADs, added 27th of April. Fixed headlights not showing on AI Jubilee. Tail lights in something we'll investigate later, added 27th of April. Fixed scenario plan now formation so that loaded wagons don't face empty wagons, added 27th of April. All of the physics improvements will be ported to both Spirits of Steam and West Cornwall Local Steam router and be there on day 1 for Peak Forest for the Jubilee AF and 4F. We are also currently investigating what causes firemen to intermittently vanish. We believe we have a fix, but it's a core game improvement. It will require more rigorous testing before release. Note, manual firing is still in the process of being scooped out, so we will not be part of this update. We're also investigating intermittent running sounds for AI locals, but it's unlikely these will come with this update. We also hope to get the promised loco add-on bundle improvements, including the new scenario for the German pack and changes to the US pack to update the trailer designs to be more prototypical of American trailers, and adding more scenario plan formations using track trailers and centre beams out in this patch too. Full patch notes will be available upon release, so quite a few things coming in the next patch. And there's a work in progress of the American route with some truck trailers on the train beds there. A little more detail of A little more detail on the Steam improvements. We've recalculated the valve gear events using the new engineering features available to us. Previously the valve gear opened instantly. Now we track both the start of opening and the end of opening separately, same for closing. These changes the player performance quite dramatically. You get less steam through the valves as they are open less for most of their travel, particularly at low cutoff. This means you tend to drive with a higher cut-off percentage, which you could pull at 20% cut-off before you now might need 30% to achieve. It also changes the drafting of the fire, particularly at lower speeds. The steam flow is smoother and occurs over a longer time, meaning you can now achieve more sustained performances at low speeds. I guess that's good. Peak Forest, Ambergate, Chinley and Buxton. Coming next Tuesday, 9th of May, our second Steam route comes to Train Sim World, a world apart from the industrial powerhouse of Liverpool Crewe. Peak Forest offers a more scenic tranquility opportunity to enjoy 1960s Derbyshire during the beginning of the end of the steam era, using banking operations to negotiate inclines with extreme heavy locomotives. We asked Michael from our gameplay team to give you an insight into the world of banking, which is a brand new to Train Sim World with this release. But here's the F4 in action in our Peak Forest local walk around video. And I will show this, actually I will do this now. I can't make the screen bigger, unfortunately. Like this. See the fireman getting the coal in there. ICI hopper wagon. It's a shame there's no diesel locos in this as well, as towards the end, because there would have been some diesel locos at the end of this thing. So it's coming in 2023. Now, that is something I am interested in. It does look good, although it does look a bit bright there, don't it? See, as it's in Derbyshire, where I'm currently located in. I'd love to see what Matlock, Bath and Ambergate looked back then. I'm not really that good with steam trains, to be honest with you, but maybe when it's discounted it'll be something that I pick up. Banking in the Peak Forest. The role of a banker is to provide more power on steep inclines by being added to the rear of the trains. We know we wanted to implement banking operations early in development, since it is necessary to allow every freight up the steep inclines on this route. Our implementation of the in-game is a close representation of how they would have done these operations back in the day. Drivers would have been given notice of when their train would require banking on the route before starting work. Once they have collected limestone hoppers from Tunstead Quarry, represented by the AF with loaded ICI hoppers, they wait to be assisted by another locomotive, represented by the 4F. One thing I did notice on that trailer is the actual driver leaning out the cab and looking up and down the line when reversing backwards and going forward. So I think that's a really nice touch. I think that's really well. I actually quite like that. The banking locomotive would push from the rear of the train. We have it coupled to our formation to allow the formation to be shared across the train. Once coupled, the driver of the AF blows the whistle accordingly, notifying the driver of the 4F to release the brakes and begin the banking process. The train is then assisted banked up past Peak Forest Station, where it then stops to allow the 4F to uncouple and return to the quarry for further duties. The AF then descends down the rest of the route past Chinley and beyond. You would have to seen this process regularly across the line. If a train exceeded the maximum load, they would have required banking across this section of the route. When creating these services, there are a lot of dependencies on both the mainline freight and shunting services to allow for efficient running of the two. This took a bit of trial and error to get right, but we're happy with how this turned out. I wonder if the AI will do banking as well when you're going past. Be interesting to see, wouldn't it? There are many banking services included in the route timetable as well as scenario. Breaking at the bank, which includes it too. And if banking hasn't whetted your appetite enough, here's a short breakdown of a playable service included in the timetable. Local stopping and express passenger services with the Jubilee and MK1s. Limestone quarry shunting and banking with the AF, 4F and ICI hoppers. Yard shunting services with the 4F and various freight wagons. Local freight with the AF and various freight wagons. Light loco service including all locomotives. When released, there will be 110 playable services and approximately 140 AI services covering the variety of operations above. With this release, we've focused on a variety of gameplay options, which we hope will provide a more diverse experience. You can watch the live stream previewing Peak Forest this Thursday, 4th of May, with Jamie and Matt on our YouTube and Twitch channels. See you there. So Jamie and Matt will be doing a live stream previewing the Peak Forest route, and that is one I'll actually watch because I'm not planning on getting it as close to release as possible. It is something I'll probably watch. Normally I don't watch them because I do a review, but I'll probably forget what I see in the video anyway because it'll be quite a while before I actually get that route. And now here's something I'm looking forward to, the Thameslink Class 700. Not much new to report on the Class 700, but here's a picture of the interior of the cab for you to wet your whistle with. There you go, don't really show much. I just hope and I beg and I plead that they get the sounds right, because as TS Classic players know, they fucked up on the sounds so bad when they released it on TS Classic, because you had that whining noise that it does when the start up. It had it for as long as you had acceleration on, but as we know, it only does it at the start up, not as long as acceleration is on. It's only when it's pulling out of a station, so yeah, hopefully they get that right. But I'm looking forward to the 700. I think they say about summertime that 700 is going to come out. Core improvements. A progress summary on the core improvements the teams are working on this month. We have a quick add-on manager update, HST livery design functionality, Pensalia corridor baby bullet services, and TSW2 preservation crew improvement. I don't know what the fuck am I speaking today. Not that I can speak the best, but speak the best at the best of times. And just quickly back on the 700. This will be on the southeastern high speed route, which is starting to look full. With all the trains that we have on that route, it is looking really good for trains on the route. I just hope, because we had the original route on TSW2, then they extended the route on TSW3 to Gravesend on the local service and down to Ashford International on the high speed service. I am hoping and I'm begging Dovetail to extend the route from Ashford International round to Margate, please. And they can do that via Canterbury, if it's Canterbury West or Canterbury East, I'm not sure which one it was. It's been a while since I've been down to on that line when I travelled to Ramsgate. I think it was shortly after my stepdad died that I last went to Ramsgate. So yeah, I won't really pay much attention to outside of the train, to be honest. So I can't remember if it's Canterbury East or Canterbury West. I'm sure someone might say in the comments. Yeah, so if we can get a service, because then you could do a full run from St Pancras down to Ashford International and round to Ramsgate. That would be amazing. Ads-on Manager. We're currently testing Xbox Ads-on Manager. We've been experiencing some crashing issues with the current build, so our engineering team will be taking another look at it. Once Xbox is out, we'll turn our attention to PC platform. HST Livery Designer capability. Actually, I don't even know what this add-on things is. I thought that was a console thing. I didn't know it was a PC thing as well. I'm not sure what that is. Is that just something where you can manage your add-ons more accurately or something? I don't know. HST Livery Designer capability. While we weren't able to bring you this to the Midland main line, we believe this should be released in a patch later this month. Pensalia Corridor and Oakfield Corridor Baby Bullet surfaces. Nothing to report from the last month's roadmap, but as soon as one of our UI team becomes available, we'll investigate. TSW2 Preservation Crew release. Yeah, you got it right that time. Nothing further on this one from last month. To reiterate, we're committed to bring this to you, and hoping the window of time we have now will help us get this out. Patches from the past month. Here's a quick summary of the contents of the patches released in the past month you may have missed. 4th of April, post-release patch US content, Northeast Corridor, New York, Trenton, Amtrak. Various improvements to Access ATC, tutorial improvements, early improvements, passenger improvements, and much more. TSW 2023 Easter event. 17th of April, additional safety systems patch for New York, Trenton. Upcoming patches. Other content were added to the roadmap as our post-release improvement patches to local add-on bundle 2, including new scenarios for Railbow and announcement on Cajun Pass timetable for SD7 Ace, Link Rheinstruck, Neltelbahn and Bremen Oldenburg. Third-party development update. Updates from some of our partner program developers. This month we have an update from Skyhook Games after Midland Mainline disastrous release, and from the team at Just Trains. Ooh. We find out some more stuff by Just Trains this route. Skyhook Games. After the disastrous release of Midland Mainline, the Skyhook team are reviewing your feedback from the content. Jane, their Chief Technical Officer, has started a thread providing an introduction as well as sharing updates on post-release patch progress. Here's a quick summary of their areas of focus. These are all not confirmed, but their areas Skyhooks are investigating. Expanding the timetable per community feedback. Whole new freight services added to the route. That's good. Major route resignaling to address issues and enhance realism. Numerous environmental fixes and update. Stations updates to add additional realism, much needed. Multiple bridges remodeled from scratch to reflect their real-world counterparts. That's good. City updates to add in more bespoke buildings. The Velodrome, Pride Park and many other new points of interest. Significant functionality updates to the class 158. Multiple performance updates, re-adding the removed freight services and HTT SEHS services. Address the issue where NPCs get stuck in the doorway. Updating vehicle coupling and logic. Addressing issues with the HST set, including system functionality and unit numbers. And coach numbers as well. Coach numbers. Or coach letters, should I say, sorry. We'll have more information for you on these when the improvements are completed and are ready for release. How you can have so many problems and stuff that needs fixing get released, I don't know. It's the same with this Games is ScotRail Express route where there's so much things wrong, so many things that needed fixing. How it got through quality control, I don't know. And same here. Let's hope these updates, I don't mind if they take their time, because I'm not going to play the scenarios until, you know, these are implemented. I might do the odd timetable here and there. I might record them for the channel, but as far as scenarios go, I'm not touching them until the updates are done. Just Trains. Many of you know that Just Trains is proving a track record with our very detailed, accurate, high quality and great looking routes for Train Simulator Classic, and these same qualities are coming brilliantly alive with our first route for Train Sim World. I wish they'd done the Midland Main Line, because they done such a brilliant Midland Main Line, which they continue to add to. Dovetail will make you believe that they can't add stuff, they can't extend routes, and here's Just Trains just proving them wrong. Maybe we'll get Just Trains extending their routes when they bring them out for TSW, who knows. So, I just sidetracked there, didn't I? The Just Trains teams are working very hard and are solely dedicated on this, our first route for this platform. Another pun. Building any route has very mainly individual elements that need to be brought together, but to recap, so far we've completed 26 miles of scenery with around 20 miles left to go. So that's a 36-mile route. So we're pleased to say our project is over half complete. Our environment artists are busy bringing the virtual world to life, and our team of asset builders are creating superb, realistic looking objects such as signal boxes, distinctive buildings, churches, as well as many stations ranging from a simple platform to an end of the route termini that you'll be able to stop at when driving the route. Progress on the train that will be coming with the route is coming along at a pace and is looking excellent. All of this will ensure that your driving experience has the correct look and feel and will provide you with a great sense of immersion. Now, it has been rumoured that it will be Blackpool South to Preston, which is a route they did for Train Sim Classic. I'm not sure if that's 36 miles long, but Blackpool South is a termini, and it does have quite a big church outside Preston, I think, outside Preston Station. And there is potential for other trains to be at Preston as well, I think. And is there a clue there to what train there is? There's only one train, Progress on the Train, so not trains, train, that will be coming the route. It's coming along at pace. It's coming along at pace. Does that mean they're going to do a pacer? Will it be a pacer from Preston to Blackpool South? Do you know what? I would love it if it is the Preston to Blackpool route. I would love it if it's a pacer, to bring a pacer to Train Sim World 3, and it will be the class 143. I think it will be. If I remember my pacers correctly, because I'm someone who loved the pacers. I had no problems with them. I'd been on excuse me, sorry. I'd been on pacers on trains in Wales, and I'd been on them further up north, Wagon, and in Sheffield. So if pacers are coming to Train Sim World 3, then yes, I would be totally on board for that. That would be amazing. Inside development, how we use LIDAR scanning for our landscapes. In the world of developing a simulation game, reference materials is super important, particularly when it comes to vast expanses of land. In the next instalment of our Inside Development series, we spoke to Lucas, our senior technical producer, who told us how we're starting to use more granular data to better represent real-life terrain in TSW. Early in my career at working on TSW, I searched for better ways to get accurate height data for track beds in countries like Germany, where public information does not include good gradient data for railway lines. This brought me to LIDAR terrain. But what is LIDAR terrain, I hear you ask? I was thinking that when I was reading it out. Well, that's like they read my mind. LIDAR terrain is nothing else than terrain data that has been laser scanned via plane, often done by each state or country themselves. It continues to replace the data provided by NASA, which provided the basis for Train Simulator Classic and TSW route development. This was of roughly 40 to 50 meter accuracy, which allows to build on roughly the correct height, but is nowhere near that of LIDAR scanning. Oh, excuse me. Here we can get closer to 50 centimeters, which is already lower than our terrain grid in TSW, which supports 2 meters. Here you can see a comparison of the two inside TSW editor. So the NASA, I'm guessing, is the top one, and the LADAR scanner is the bottom one there, which especially works well with valleys like in our recent Lake Weinstock route. Go there. After starting to use this data to get information from track laying, and with the further increase in free sources for LADAR, especially after a push from the European Parliament to make it available as open data, we started looking into how we can use this more extensively for our route building and for our terrain. The main problem was that everyone uses different formats and filtering. While a lot of countries provided filtered data that removes buildings and trees from the data, some will not. This requires fairly expensive programs to filter the data for our use. The bigger problem is presented by the variety of formats and coordinate systems. These are important since global reference systems are not accurate enough. It would have taken years to make Unreal Engine work with all these, so I need to filter and convert them beforehand. This is where we turn to an open source software called QGIS, which provides all the tools. The source data, often 100 gigabytes and more, is merged into a big file where it is reprojected into the coordinated system we use inside TSW and then tilted into hundreds of pieces. These are then imported into our custom extension for the Unreal Editor to be imported into our routes. Since the source format and systems are often very different, it takes some time to figure out the right way to do it every time. The first time we properly used this feature was for Thuranda Rampe, especially its valley run benefited a lot of from this technique. Some countries like the UK are not yet finished in fully surveying their land. Here is why we only get spotted data, but even partial data is still better than going back to 50 meter accuracy. Who can guess what this route is? West Midland the West Midland line? I'm guessing, maybe. Since the data amounts are quite big, these processes can take up to 2 days, but it's all worth it. Next to the fact that routes are much closer to reality, it also makes the life of our route builders much simpler. They don't spend ages scalping terrain and can place houses directly onto the real foundations. The track layers also can see the difference now when there is no LIDAR. It shows gradient changes and other details perfectly, and often shows the track bed more accurately than the likes of Google Maps overlay would ever do. Especially complex hillsides and rocky cliffs would be impossible to sculpt by hand and could never match the result when we can just import reality. In future, we will continue to develop this technique and hopefully combine it with procedural generation, especially terrain painting and automatic road placement. We will hopefully benefit a lot from this. The TrainSim World Roadmap. This month we've added indicators to show how far along development various items on the roadmap are. So next arrival, our next release, expect this content to be released before the next roadmap article. In development, active development is underway. Expect this content to be longer than a month away, but less than 3 months away. In planning stages, initial development has started. Expect this to be between 3 to 9 months away. At red light, not in active development, but something we're committed to delivering. No ETA at this point. Dovetail Games release. These are forthcoming add-ons that are being developed by Dovetail Games, so we know all this anyway. So, next arrival, Peak Forest, Ambergate, Chinley to Buxton. In development, so I said in development, it is longer than a month, but less than 3 months. So in less than 3 months from DDG, we will get the Glossop line, Manchester to Adfield and Glossop, the Thameslink BR Class 700, and the German locomotive. So we are in May, so June, July. So by August, we should have these three, this route and these two locomotives out to release. And that goes for the same for the Just Trains route. It says in development, which means less than 3 months away as well. So it's 2 UK routes and a UK train in the next 3 months. That is amazing. And in planning from TSG, the BR 420 electric multiple unit for Upstruck to Munich München Augsburg route. Core features, well, we know what the core features are, we don't need to go through that every time. The add-on managers for Xbox and PC, these are all in development by the way. Derailing improvements route by route, safeguarding improvements route by route, and performance optimization. We know what the special projects and team patches are. The next release is the local add-on bundle 2 post-release patch, Spirit of Steam, AI SPAD fix and physics improvement. In development, HST livery design and functionality, the Liank Ryan Struck post-release patch, the Niedertarbahn post-release patch, the Midland Main Line post-release patch, the NEC New York Trenton timetable improvements, the Peninsular Corridor and Oakville subdivision access to baby bullet surfaces. So they're all for TSW3. Then for TSW2, which includes TSW3 if you've got TSW3 as well. But these all routes, that stuff that came out when it was TSW2. The Scottish Commuter, tiny update. Small, Obstruct to Umberg, Lubeck, including timetable update. Medium, Rian Ra, Austin. Small, the 2022 Bakerloo timetable, 600 plus services. Small, Long Island Railroad. Huge, Pennsylvania Corridor. Note there are further improvements to come on both games. Okay, so for TSW3 and TSW2. Huge, Hopefield subdivision. And tiny, LGV Mediterranean. That's that French route. At red light, DBBR187 audio improvements. And red light means not in active development, but something we're committed to delivering. No OTA at this point. Removed from roadmap. Content post-release patch, Trenton SL UP Heritage Collection, Midland Main Line, Leicester, Derby and Nottingham, developed by Skyhook Games. And that's it. So that's the end of this video then. Some quite good positive developments coming in and some information on how they make the game. Really excited to see the new route, the new UK route. That'll be here by August at the latest. Also the timetable says, as well as the 700 and the Just Trains route, which if it is Preston to Blackpool South as it is heavily rumoured, I do hope that is a Paycell with it. And then of course you've got the new Steam route coming out as well, which is the Peak Forest. Excuse me. And of course we've got the Glossop Line route map as well. So thank you for joining me on this video. Leave your comments below and tell me what you think of this roadmap. What are you looking forward to the most, and what do you think about the content that's coming up soon? Feel free to also like, and if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button because it does help me out massively. And don't forget to hit that bell notification to keep up to date with all future content on this channel. Thank you very much. I am trying to get as much videos out as possible as I can. I've got videos that do need editing. It is sometimes a struggle to get things out because of stuff I've got to deal with in the real life, as well as my mental health, and of course looking after my beautiful daughter as well, who takes priority over everything. So thank you very much once again. I hope you're all well. I hope you all take care, look after each other, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye for now, and like I said, take care.